Here we're going to talk about to-do statements 2 through 5. So you should have watched the acceleration and velocity videos. And so this should be at least somewhat clear to you what's happening. The update method is being called 50 times per second in the game panel class, right up here. So it's updating all the elements, then it's drawing all the elements, then it's repainting them to the screen. So if we want the player to update, we need to move the player around based on its velocity. And if we want gravity to act on the player, so if we want it to fall back down to Earth, we need to have the y acceleration affect the y velocity. So there's a couple things we've got to do here. So to-do statement 2 just asks you to add over time, every time through the loop, we want to add the x velocity to the x position, great. We want to add the y velocity to the y position, great. And here I'm going to talk about this a little bit more. So if the player is going to the left, which already works for you, there's a Boolean called left that I'm telling you, if the person using the program hits the left arrow, the value of the Boolean left will be true. And if the person hits the right arrow, the value of the Boolean right will be true. Now that happens down below. It's right here. Well, not right there, actually. It's right here. Well, it's both those things. So anyway, just know that that works correctly right now. So if the player is moving left, we want to add the negative x acceleration to the velocity. Now, the x acceleration, this variable, can be understood to be the player's speed, like how quickly the player speeds up as it moves. And so if we add the negative x acceleration to the velocity, it means it's kind of pushing left. But if we add the positive x acceleration to the velocity, it's moving right. So you just need to use a couple if statements. To-do statement 5 asks you to add the y acceleration to the y velocity. Y acceleration is a more maybe specific term, or I don't know, a general term for gravity. So gravity is already set up here. It's going to act at a value of 0.8 per frame. 0.8 pixels per frame is the units if you want to get into it. And it's so you need to add the y acceleration to the y velocity at each frame. Then finally, to-do statement 6, I guess I'm supposed to talk about that in another video. I'll just do it in this video. I want there to be a terminal velocity though. Like I don't want the player to be able to speed up sort of infinitely, and I don't like in either the x or the y planes. Well, just do the x plane, I guess. So there are a couple caps, and this is pretty similar. Are pretty common. You can also do the y velocity. Here's the cap for the y velocity. So this is the max x velocity. So we say, like, in to-do statement 6, you have to check. You say, like, if x velocity is higher than the max x velocity, set it to the max x velocity. And then another if statement, if the x velocity is less than the negative max x velocity, set it to the negative max x velocity. So that just caps it. It uses one variable to cap it at the minimum and maximum values, and you can do that for the y velocity also. Cool. So that's plenty for this video.